After years of waiting and several failed attempts, I'm happy to say that Silent Hill is back. That's right, this month Konami announced a bunch of new Silent Hill games, including a remake of Silent Hill 2, a brand new adventure called Silent Hill F, a prequel movie from Christophe Gans, and even an interactive Silent Hill experience that seems to rope in J.J. Abrams somehow. Clearly, there's a lot of Silent Hill coming up, which makes me wonder, how did Electronic Arts rank these classic horror games? Now, if you're wondering, EGM managed to review a total of 7 Silent Hill games between 1999 and 2008. This includes the original, a bunch of the sequels, a retitled port, and even a portable outing. Unfortunately, Electronic Arts ceased production before Shattered Memory, Downpour, Book of Memories, or the disappointing HD collection. What we're gonna do is count down the best and worst Silent Hill games using Electronic Gaming Monthly's own words and scores. There's no editorializing here, we're just gonna focus on what the critics said back when these games first came out. So, grab your favorite running shoes and hammer, because we're about to count down Electronic Gaming Monthly's top 7 Silent Hill games.
Play Silent Hill. He may never leave your room again for PlayStation from Konami.
Up first, we have number 7, Silent Hill Homecoming on PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. To somebody who's been enraptured by this franchise since its inception, the sequel makes for a slightly bittersweet homecoming. Yeah, the controls are clunky, the brain teasers harken back to survival horror's early days, and it's painful to backtrack through an entire level to search for a single item you might have missed. Despite all those issues, Homecoming has its moments, particularly of the crazy, grotesque sort that produced the can't look away from the horrible car accident effect. I couldn't help but want to see what happened next. Number 6, Silent Hill Origins on the PlayStation Portable. Survival horror relies so much on presentation to create the atmosphere that I was really skeptical of Silent Hill working on PSP, but Origins completely pulls it off. Provided that you play in the dark with headphones on. That alone counts for a lot. The lighting, and particularly its ensuing shadows, completely drew me into a tense state of always wondering what's lurking out there. But I grew increasingly frustrated, struggling to reach the next save point out of healing herbs with weapons falling apart in my hands. Number 5, Silent Hill 4, The Room on PlayStation 2 and Xbox. The scratchy filters and corridors of gory filth, the inhumane horrors, and half-heard cries for help. None of these things are disturbing anymore for Silent Hill vets. Where familiarity blunts fright, backtracking leads to frustration, but The Room menaces you with more than multi-part puzzles and death in dark places. Gazing through your apartment's windows, glimpsing the ordinary life that goes on outside, makes your cabin fever much more intense. It's also introduced a cerebral angle to the genre that's left little to the imagination and makes it a lot more unnerving as the hell on the other side of the hole in the wall closes in. Number 4, Silent Hill 2, Restless Dreams on the Xbox. Silent Hill 2 Restless Dreams is a ballsy, psychologically taxing game any adventure gamer should experience. The nightmarish ambiance of Silent Hill and the cadaverous character designs add up to make this, hands down, the most disturbing video game ever. It's an artistic endeavor, and I applaud the developers. But to experience all 4 different endings, you've got to decipher some really obscure puzzles and battle against a clumsy, infuriating interface. These issues really snap you out of the zone. You worry less about the fog or the darkness or the slothy zombies, and pray that you don't run into any more of those puzzles in the next room. Number 3, Silent Hill 2 on the PlayStation 2. Silent Hill 2 is, hands down, the scariest game ever made. Just writing about the game gives me the creeps. But does that chill factor translate into greatness? Or is it just aesthetic fluff? To their credit, the developers have done a lot of control tweaks to make Silent Hill 2 one of the more playable survival horror titles. Plus, the story, with its surprises and multiple endings, is much more compelling and makes more sense than the prequel. But to experience all that, you've got to wade through some incredibly tedious and arbitrary puzzles and a lot of fetch-the-key style gameplay. If you're patient enough, Silent Hill 2 will cough up the goods. Otherwise, you may get frustrated. Number 2, Silent Hill on the PlayStation. Resident Evil is to Night of the Living Dead as Silent Hill is to Hellraiser. Talk about a creepy game. It starts off slow, but once you get an hour in, things get really tense. Although you will run into long, drawn-out periods of uneventfulness. Speaking of Resident Evil, you can see the influences everywhere, and I do mean everywhere. So, if you're a Resident Evil fan, do not miss out on this one. By the way, don't let your children see this game. And finally, at number 1, Silent Hill 3 on the PlayStation 2. Silent Hill 3 is easily the best horror adventure yet and contains the most effective use of atmosphere in any title I've ever played. While Silent Hill 2 shows off all of its creepy cards at once, Silent Hill 3 inches out its scares with excellent pacing. There are numerous frightening little moments that'll resonate in your mind long after you've beaten it. And although it's definitely one of the PlayStation 2's best looking games, the audio is truly the best feature. Often you'll hear the little cries in the night, the forlorn sounding call of a horn, or howls in the distance. Unsettling stuff indeed. Silent Hill 3 has a few rough edges. The analog control is loose for one, and it drags a bit towards the end, but that's it. It's scary and fun. Hi, thanks for watching me talk about these old school video game reviews. If you liked what you saw here, then you should know that we have a bunch of shows looking at classic magazines, their reviews, and, well, a whole lot more. Go ahead and check out the playlist for more information. Now, here's the question I have for you. What's your favorite Silent Hill game? Not gonna lie, it's been a really long time since I played one of these games. But I really did like that Book of Memories game on the PS Vita. Let me see your picks in the comments below. In other news, oh boy, well, I've been gone a few weeks, and I guess I owe you an explanation. I don't know, I may make a separate video about this, but recently I caught a cold that made it hard for me to talk, which obviously made it hard to make videos. I got over that soon enough, but just when I thought all that was kicked, I ended up twisting my ankle, which ended up being a lot more serious than I was expecting. I was basically stuck on the couch for like 2 weeks, and I'm only now getting back into the swing of things. Yes, it still hurts to walk. Let me tell you, that's a whole lot better than not being able to walk at all. In that time, I played a bunch of games, and hey, I even wrote a bunch of reviews. So, expect a whole lot of content to start flowing in the coming days and weeks. But also, just keep in mind that some of this stuff may be delayed a little bit due to injury. We'll see. While you wait for that, I strongly recommend you click that subscribe button and support what we're doing here. Until then,